Guys, I got news on South by Southwest and what was all the Sonic hype about. I also got news on the Brave Neptunia game, apparently not a platformer, says Artisan Studios. We also got news on Kojima's response to Metal Gear Survive and what he thinks about the game. And much more on the Game Corner podcast.
Okay, so I guess I'll start off story time today. So I don't know if you guys know about a little game called Kirby Star Allies that dropped today.
Never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Jesus fucking Christ, Sean. So Kirby Star Allies dropped today. And typically when I buy games on Amazon, I either get them early or I get them on release. Because I pay for 2-day shipping. And Amazon.ca tends to guarantee that you will get your game on release day if you get 2-day shipping, because it's only fair, right?
Right.
So the last couple of days, I haven't really been paying much attention to my email, and I haven't been paying a lot of attention to my email, so I haven't seen any emails that oh, your item is shipped. Today, I checked my mail at 7 p.m., and there was no copy of Kirby. So I was like, well, fuck it, I want to play this today, because it released today. I'm going to go out and go to EB Games, which is our GameStop, and buy one. So I pressured my roommate into getting a cab with me to the mall at fucking 7:30 at night. We get to the mall, we go into GameStop, and they don't have any copies of it.
Oof.
Now, the girl at the GameStop counter was super cool. She's like, yeah, well, I heard Walmart still has them. So I get to Walmart. Walmart doesn't have any either. By this point, I'm not really defeated. I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I can wait then. Because I'm a rational adult. I'm not going to be like, oh, they didn't have Kirby. I'm so pissed off. Wah. It's just like, oh, okay, whatever. They didn't have it. I can wait a couple of extra days. But we went out to dinner at this local restaurant. Now, it turns out this restaurant shares its back parking lot is also the parking lot to Dairy Queen and Best Buy. So Best Buy was still open, and my roommate wanted to go in to look at, he has an Amazon Echo, so he wanted to look at smart home devices. Now, apparently Best Buy has a metric fuck ton of this game. I went in, and everything in Best Buy has a sticker on it that says, take this to the front to purchase, we will get it from the cabinet for you. So if we don't have it in stock, you won't be able to buy it, which is all well and good, because it prevents theft and, whatever. Anyway, so I grabbed the display copy, and I was going to buy some DS games, too, or, even buy, a new Nintendo 2DS. But anyway, I'm walking around the store with this copy of Kirby, just looking at stuff. And this guy walks up and he's like, hey, is that all you're getting? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And so anyway, he kind of herded me to the front and rang me in. And I was kind of awkward about it. So I was like, well, what if I still wanted to look at stuff? I ended up not buying anything for the DS because I didn't want to blow all of my money today. But, so apparently at Best Buy, you get a Kirby you get a poster. And the front side of the poster is the game. It's the game case, including the ESRB rating, but it's printed on really nice glossy high quality paper, and then the backside, the Kirby tote, it's his face like it is on the tote.
Oof.
So here's the funny part though, right? So I get home.
So you're the only one that got the bag, not to cut you off.
No, I didn't get a bag. I got a poster.
Oh, okay.
The poster just happens to have the same design on one side that the bag has on it.
Okay.
But anyway, I get home and I'm like, I'm doing up some stuff for work, and I'm like, oh shit, I better go cancel that Amazon order of Kirby. So I'm looking at it, and it says, quote, will arrive between April 10th and April 27th.
It's March 16th.
It's March 16th. I ordered 2-day shipping, and here's the thing, right?
What the fuck?
Like, even if they gave me a guaranteed release date a guaranteed delivery date of today, I wouldn't be mad if it's not going to get in. I mean, not as mad as I am at the fact that I would have been waiting like a month.
Mm-hmm.
But because what's supposed to happen is Amazon is at least supposed to ship it within the 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway, I just gotta lay into Amazon a little bit because I'm kind of tired of this crap. Like, I ordered Devil May Cry HD Collection. I ended up canceling it because I wanted to save some money. And I'm still kind of miffed that it dropped on Tuesday. And I wasn't going to be getting it until, I believe, today.
Wow.
Despite ordering express shipping. Like, that stuff really pisses me off because, like, you say it's going to ship on release day and be here on release day, so why the fuck is your estimate for... And, like, I get it, right? The weather conditions in Canada, in my part of the country, recently have not been very good. But even then, that's really no excuse because, like, the least Amazon could have done is sent me an email that said, like, dear Mr. Hallahan, your stuff isn't going to be in on time, therefore we will waive the shipping fee, which is what they did when oh fuck, what did I order? I think it was when my copy of Dissidia came in late. I can't remember. I mentioned this on a previous podcast that one of the games I ordered ended up coming in later than expected, and they waived my shipping fee. But for that shit, I just don't think that it's acceptable.
I've had a lot of issues with Amazon myself recently.
And you have Amazon Prime, Cipher?
No, I don't.
I was going to say, because I know you get the 2-day shipping with Prime for free.
The only reason I haven't bought Prime is because I only started using Amazon in the past probably 6 months, and I never expected that I would be ordering this much off of Amazon.
I don't order enough.
Same.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't either.
So I have no reason to get Prime. Like, I know, like, January and February I was ordering a decent, like, I ordered like 5 or 6 things, but I don't expect myself to order anything else for a very long time.
Oh, see, I tend to make one order once a month. That is between 4 and 6 items.
Yeah, that's a lot more than me.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, I'm not
it's
really
really
doing
only
it.
just, like, I'm lazy.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm probably not going to be doing it anymore now that my income isn't consistent.
Sure.
I mean, I'd like to, but...
Right.
Oh, I have a real-life story, too. So my university is trying to gouge me for about $300 despite the fact that I dropped out.
Oh, yeah, didn't you mention this like a day or two ago?
I mentioned this in chat the other day, and I might have mentioned it on the stream when we streamed together, but basically I dropped out of university on February 23rd, and the university claims that I owe them, I think it's $312.50. So I sent them an email, and I basically said, like, I know that I dropped out before the date for refunds. I was like, I don't expect you to give me a refund, but I expect you to waive these fees.
Yeah.
And I gave them a couple of reasons why.
If you're not there, then...
Yeah. I was like, I see no reason for me to pay fees to an educational institution that I no longer attend because these fees do not benefit me. And if I'm completely honest with you, when I was a student, they did not benefit me because I didn't go to campus.
Mm-hmm.
So, financial services gets back to me, and they're like, I'm going to send this off to my supervisor. The financial services supervisor got back to me this morning. Now, I've been working pretty long hours at some projects recently to get paid, and with like, I slept 4 hours last night, and I didn't even really sleep. I was blackout drunk. Like, I remember getting up. I think I had some shots of Kahlua, and then I went to bed. I busted a nut and went to bed, in Sean's words. But, so anyway, today they get back to me, and they're like, they didn't even really address the issue. They just sent me one email, and they're like, these fees are compulsory, blah, blah, blah. So I retorted with, I signed a financial agreement in whatever date, like, that stated that I would pay by the end of February. I was like, however, there's nothing in this financial agreement that states that if I drop out, I will be paying you the fees. Therefore, I am under no legal obligation to do so. So basically what I'm expecting is that on Monday, they're going to tell me that they're going to proceed with a debt collection agency, and I'm going to go down to the university financial office and tell them in person that they can basically shoot me in the face and pry the money from my cold dead hands. Because I have the money. It's just the principle of it.
But can they legally take that money from you?
Not that I know of.
I mean, like, if you're
on the financial agreement, it does state if you default on your payment, they will proceed with a $75 fee. You will have to pay whatever the collection agency fee is, and you will have to pay for your fee, like the actual university fee.
Sure.
Right? But at the same time, these fees are in a state of limbo. Because the university claims they exist and it's charged to my account. But I am under no obligation to pay because I am not a student of the university, and there is no legal agreement that states I agree to pay these fees if I drop out.
Yeah, if it said, like, even if you drop out, you still have to pay it, then sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told them. Like, honestly, I am... This is me talking in my ass a little bit, but, like, if they decide to proceed with the debt collection agency, my response to that will be, I will be hiring a lawyer and I will see you in court because I refuse to pay you on principle. Like, I would rather you hire a Russian loan shark to break both of my legs
Jesus.
than give you the money.
And like, hey, if you bring up lawyer talk, maybe they'll back off. Hopefully.
I already did. I already basically said I'm under no legal obligation to do so.
Yeah.
This is why I'm under no legal obligation to do so. Which reminds me, my roommate and I were talking about this today. And he's like, what if they hire, like, a Russian loan shark? And I was like, well, picture they're surprised when I come to the door already wheelchaired. And he's like, I want to be there so that I can be in the background. And it's like, yeah, what are you going to do, break his legs? But anyway, how was your week, guys?
Well, I told you about the eye doctor thing. Went to the eye doctor on Wednesday.
How did that go? Because I don't think I think I asked, but I don't think I saw your response.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely answered you. So I get this eye irritation shit at least like twice a year, and it started happening ever since 2012, and I don't know why or what causes it. The only explanation I get from the eye doctor is, well, it just happens. Or
it just happens.
Or instead of like me catching a cold, it's like my eye can catch a cold instead, which is something I never heard of before.
That's weird.
I'm guessing my eye became, I guess over time it became vulnerable to something. But I was told it's not infected yet because I didn't let myself suffer with it long enough for that to happen.
Okay.
But now I have to take eye drops 4 times a day. And I gotta take it for a little while, and after like a week and a half or whatever, my eye's still not feeling better, I have to go back.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, dude, I fucking hate these things. So you're pretty much gonna be reading all the news because...
Yeah, I don't mind.
Really, in this state, me trying to read anything makes me strain even more, and it really irritates my eye.
Honestly,
bad.
Dude, one of my earliest memories is... Like, I also have a lot of vision problems. And I think I had an eye infection when I was a really little kid. Like, and so it's one of my earliest memories is my mom and grandfather trying to hold me down and put eye drops in my eyes, and I'm sitting there like screaming, crying, thrashing. I'm like fucking. I think I was like 2 or 3. If I had to guess, I was 2 or 3. And I remember my great grandmother, who I think she died when I was about 4 or 5 years old. But she was like this sweet old lady, pretty old fashioned for the most part, but she was pretty cool, apparently, from what I was told. She shuffles into the room, and she was deaf. She's like, "Oh, what's going on in here?" And I'm just fucking screaming, and she just did a 180 out of the room.
But I thought
I'll be back. I'll be back later.
I thought you said she was deaf, so how could she even hear you?
Because I was yelling that loud.
Jesus
Christ. She had hearing damage, but she wasn't like actually deaf. You know what I mean? She was hearing impaired.
Wow.
Jesus.
But yeah, so I mean, I think anybody as a kid would hate getting eye drops. I mean, I know I certainly did for exams.
I still hate getting eye drops.
I haven't had to get them since I was 3 or 4. Like since that's the earliest I can remember. I've had to do ear drops though for ear infections. I've ever had to do those.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to do those once in a while. So yeah, so other than the eye doctor visit on Wednesday, was it Wednesday? No, Thursday. Yeah, so it was yesterday, and other than that, today I got Kirby. You know, I asked about the little tote bag. GameStop said they had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. They had no idea what it was, so I brought it up on my phone, and they still had no idea what was going on. I'm like, guys, I read an article that GameStop's doing it, and EB Games in Canada's doing it, and I know EB Games in Canada is GameStop's equal, so I'm like, why wouldn't you be?
I've heard that they're the same, like actually the same company.
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
They used to be different. Of course, like my roommate and I talked about this today.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be different, but I think GameStop bought them out.
I think so.
Bought at EB Games.
It used to
I
be
got a friend who works at EB Games.
It used to be EB Games in America too, but then it changed to GameStop after a while.
I prefer GameStop because EB stands for, I think it's like Electronics Boutique.
Yes.
And that sounds fucking stupid to me. Electronics Boutique Games. It's like, in the UK, the game store is just called Game in all caps.
Yes.
And I think that is a better name than EB Games.
Plus, everyone remembers that fucking commercial. Oh, hey guys, welcome to EB Games. Roger that.
I don't remember that commercial.
You don't remember that fucking commercial? I don't remember what it was for. I think it was for Modern Warfare 3. It was just a shitty commercial.
Oh, I stopped watching TV when I was about 12.
Oh, I didn't see it on TV. I saw it on YouTube. But anyway.
I've always used an ad block.
So that was my week. So, Sean, I believe it's your turn.
Fucking, I don't know. Being jobless means my life is super boring.
Mine too, buddy.
I guess since my last fucking romp on this podcast, I have lost my job due to stupid bullshit circumstances.
He fucked one too many rocks.
It wasn't one too many. It was like 7 or 8. Like, customers were starting to make complaints that there were some odd stains
and some weird holes in the rocks.
Sean, you were jobless last week when you were on this podcast. What are you talking about?
I didn't mention it because it was the day that we were fucking recording.
Yeah.
It was that day. You're right.
Yeah, that's shitty.
But yeah, so I've recently lost my job, and I am too lazy to start looking for a new job until like next week.
Well, I mean, it's always good to take a little time to yourself.
Because I was so stressed that last week, I guess, and like I was so stressed that I was actually fucking stress vomiting.
Oh god, I'm almost to that point myself, but
yeah. So yeah, but since I have no job, I've just been playing a lot of RuneScape. Up until I played a little bit of Terraria last night, just because.
Out of curiosity, when you were a kid, did you ever read it as RunScape?
RunScape? No, I did not.
Because when I was a kid, that's until someone verbally told me that it's pronounced RuneScape. I always thought it was RunEscape.
RunEscape. I could see that though.
Well, I mean, you're always taught in school to pronounce it, as you see it, right?
Yeah, phonetically, right?
Well, yeah. But
and because the logo at the time was, I think it was like the name RuneScape, but each individual letter was on like a rock, like a rune.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so it's run escape. Like, that's how I viewed it, because it was spaced out weird.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a smart kid.
That's okay. You're a smart big kid now.
Actually, I was a fucking brilliant kid, but I was also like...
He was a fucking mess yesterday.
Oh, man, I was so drunk yesterday. I woke up this morning, I had a bunch of shots of Kahlua before bed. Wait, did I already mention this on the podcast? 'Cause I mentioned it when we were doing pre.
Yeah, you mentioned it like 5 minutes ago.
You did just mention it.
Son of a bitch. Okay, so anyway, I had a bunch of shots of Kahlua, which is like coffee-flavored liqueur. Because basically, I don't know if you guys know this, but I like to work while drunk if I'm editing.
Yeah.
That's how I like to work. That's how I keep myself sitting down in one place, focused for long periods of time. Unfortunately, I also had to pull an all-nighter yesterday, so I was having some... Basically, I was trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Feeling all right, big guy? Doing okay?
I admitted to someone today that I think I might have a drinking problem.
About time. I told you that months ago.
Fuck you.
Does that mean you're gonna do anything about it, though?
No.
Exactly, so who cares?
I'm Irish. To us, it's like saying that you have a drinking problem.
That's just like a rite of passage.
Yeah, no, it's like you're most likely to say that while you're pouring yourself another drink. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to get the Kahlua out and have a shot right now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I'm as Irish as you, but I am very fucking Irish. But, see, I just don't drink. And it's probably because I'll end up like you if I start.
I'm not, dude, I'm a functional alcoholic, my dude.
I'm partially Irish, and I really don't give a fuck about drinking either.
That's fair. So anyway, I woke up this morning, and Jesus, how much of that's gone?
You drank so much, he doesn't even realize it.
No, okay, so I had some Kahlua last night. I went back in my room, and I've never had, like... You know how on TV, when a character is about to fall asleep, they're like, oh, I guess I'll just rest my eyes for a second, and then they fucking pass out.
Snoring really loudly.
That was me yesterday. I was, like, laying in bed, and I was like, oh, well... Because apparently... Basically what... Okay, so if you're not going to sleep, if you close your eyes for about 10 or 20 minutes, it's better for you to do that than to keep your eyes open at all times. Because you give your brain an opportunity to rest. It's not like... You're obviously not going to reap all the benefits of actually sleeping in that 20-minute time span. But I was laying there in my bed, curled up in my blankets, and I was like, I've got most of this done. I just need a 20-minute break, and then I can do the rest of it. So anyway...
2 hours later.
Passed out at, I want to say, 8 a.m. and woke up at 12. And then, basically, I woke up and I blacked out. Like, I don't remember. Basically, I woke up and I keep my Kahlua in the refrigerator because I like it cold. Which is kind of weird, I know, but I like my Kahlua cold.
No, that's
and my roommate, because I came out to make a cup of normal coffee with no alcohol in it. I know, right? That's a first. And so he's like, you know, the Kalua's left out, right? And I was like, oh, shit, really? He's like, yeah. And so anyway, he's like, do you want me to put it away in the fridge for you? And I was like, yeah, I could have sworn I did that last night. Like, I drank like a quarter of this thing of Kahlua last night, and I only remember having one shot when I bought it. And like, so I poured like another shot into a cup of coffee last night.
You had a rough night.
Keep in mind that when we were in call, I was slamming back rum and cokes.
That's fair.
And tonight, we went to a restaurant, and I was trying my best not to, because we sat in the bar, and I was like, I'm not going to order a rum and coke. I was like, I'm not going to order any alcohol, because alcohol from restaurants is retardedly expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't give you a lot. And I was like, fuck it, give me a rum and coke.
You think that's bad? Fucking, I went to an EDM show like 2 weeks ago. Or no,
How much
it was
ecstasy, Sean?
Oh, it was great. But no, it was this past weekend, and my friend was like, because he was gonna buy a thing of water, but he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a beer. He bought a normal can of fucking Bud Light, because he's like, it's the first fucking thing that came into my head, for $7.
Just a can, like one of those 355 ml cans.
Yeah, you know, like a normal soda can, one of those normal fucking beer cans,
so
for $7, and he's like, this is the worst fucking...
Gentlemen, I am officially, because I sobered up on the way home, I am now one shot in.
Proud.
Well,
I feel like my heart is on fire already.
Oh no.
Well, with that being said, folks, today is, well, Saturday now, pretty much. March 17th.
Not
It is
yet.
St. Patrick's Day. So,
Oh shit.
this is episode 11 of the Game Corner Podcast, part number 1. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I am just 2 followers away now from the affiliate status on Twitch. Follow Black Sakura on Facebook. Follow the voice actress Erin Fitzgerald on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as well. Also, check out jotaku.net. I've been so busy I haven't gotten that article out yet, but it will be going up this weekend if I have to pull an all-nighter myself to get it up. All the links are in the description box down below. So, with that being said, let's finally get into some of this news.
So do you want to just do these in order, or...
No, I want to do South by Southwest first.
Okay, South by Southwest.
So you guys really don't know anything about it because Cipher was too busy or whatever. Didn't watch it. Sean had no idea what it meant, so I'm guessing he didn't watch it either.
Well, I knew what it meant. It's more than just a gaming convention. Like,
So, like, you told me, Rose, that they announced basically a remake, or an updated version of Sonic Mania.
They announced more than that. I didn't tell you everything.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
You only told me about that, and I think it was like a 5-episode miniseries based on Sonic Mania.
Yeah,
I know.
they started it off by basically going over the stuff that we already knew about, like the movie that's coming out in November next year, and the
Did they
comic
show any
books.
footage?
No, they didn't.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't think they had anything to show, to be honest.
I mean, that's
about
fair.
it.
That's totally fair, but that's kind of lame.
Then they mentioned the comic books, the new IDW series, which comes out next month. The first 4 issues are going to release once a week, and then it's going to be once a month, starting in May. We knew about that already. They mentioned another thing that really wasn't all that big of a deal. They mentioned the game called Sonic Forces Racer or whatever. It's like like one of them Sonic Dash type games, only like with the Sonic Forces name on it. And they showed a new stage for that, which I didn't even know that was a thing until today. Which,
Okay.
as a Sonic mobile game, I really don't care about it. Like one of those temple run style games.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. What you're telling me now seems really disappointing.
No, I mean that was just the beginning. Then it got good.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
So after that beginning part, they spent about 5 minutes memeing, which really pissed me off. Because they were just getting really annoying about it, and they were really acting like really bad actors.
Oh, God.
Like, their fucking jokes were so obvious that they really just needed to not even do it.
See, what they needed to do, if it's... Like, for Sega in particular, they need to get whoever does the Sonic Twitter to write their fucking press releases.
He did. That's what he was there for. He wrote the script.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's
fucked it up.
That's why they had all the fucking memes, because that's all he does. That's all he does on the Sonic Twitter is meme, most of the time.
Yeah, I love the Sonic Twitter. Like, I think the moment that I realized that it was just fucking gold was when he posted, "Send in your original characters, do not steal."
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, Aaron Weber, he was there.
Oh, okay.
He was there. One of the lead developers for the Sonic team was there. I forgot his name. So
Christian Weston Chandler.
After the memes, they finally started to get into stuff. They talked about the success of The Sonic games they released last year, if you want to call it success, because only one of them was good.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they talked about, Sonic Mania. Then they were talking about how, they got a new game, and then they announced it. It was Sonic Mania Plus, and initially I thought, this is the new game. This isn't new. This is just an expansion. Small expansion, might I add.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania Plus is just Sonic Mania. It's going to have extra game modes to it. One is called Encore Mode, which they didn't tell us anything about.
Yeah.
Competition mode is going to be 4 players now instead of 2.
Okay, that's kind of neat. I like that. But
And 2 new playable characters, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel, I believe it is.
yeah.
Yeah, Ray the Flying Squirrel. Characters who have not been even seen in a Sonic game since the mid-90s.
I was going to say, they haven't been seen in like 20 years plus.
I mean, I know who Mighty is, but I don't think I've ever...
Ray. I think Ray was in the Sonic arcade game.
The Sonic the Fighters game.
Oh, was it?
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, they were both in that
Sorry,
one.
I'm cracking open a chocolate bar right now, so I'm trying to make it so that you guys can't hear it.
So they started off with that, and I'm like, alright, this is alright, I guess. It's...
I mean, hey, I haven't bought Sonic Mania yet, so I'm hyped.
Oh, I'm actually kind of mad.
Then they went into the Sonic Mania Adventures thing. And they mentioned how it's going to be a 5-episode miniseries cartoon. It's going to be free to watch on YouTube and like all of the Sonic the Hedgehog media. So like their Facebook and Twitter page, and probably their Tumblr page too. But it will be available on YouTube as well to watch. It's only 5 episodes. They showed a sneak peek of the first 15 seconds of the first episode. They said the first episode will drop within the next 30 days. And then after that, so we're going to get like 1 episode a month, they said, up until the release of Sonic Mania Plus. And the cartoon is supposed to take place in a timeline after Classic Sonic returns to his timeline from the Forces storyline.
I like that idea.
So, yeah, they confirmed what we already knew, that Classic Sonic from Mania and Forces was the same Sonic. We already knew that. Then they went on to show the collector's edition that I told you about. $30 US, so it's probably like 40 Canadian.
It's probably a 50 Canadian.
It comes with... It's a physical release of the game. So we're finally getting physical release. It comes with a holographic cover. It comes with a reversible Sega Genesis sleeve, which actually I can show you a picture of it now. It looks really nice, actually.
Dude, the very idea of that makes me fucking diamond status, just hard as a rock.
I'm looking at a picture of it now. It looks really nice.
You already found it? Yeah, Cipher hasn't seen it yet, so I'll just post it anyway.
Also,
here it is.
Speaking of the Encore mode, what I'm reading right now, it's just like remixed versions of zones.
I mean, that's kind of still neat. It's like redone.
Yeah, cool with that.
Yeah.
And then you also get a 32-page art book for $30 US. So it's another collector's edition, and if you have the digital version like me and Cipher do, we can get a digital update, kind of like how Street Fighter does theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't said it's going to be free, but I'm hoping it's going to be. Or if anything, that it shouldn't be more than like $5.
It might be 10 at most.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this second collector's edition for the Switch, since I always wanted to buy the game for the Switch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just get the digital update for the PS4 and then still have both.
Oh, like, I love... First of all, I just like the fact that you can get this on the Switch, and that it comes with a fucking reversible Genesis cover.
Dude, look at that Genesis cover. It looks fucking amazing.
It looks
awesome.
Look, I gotta be honest with you. The only way that they could make this better, because I've complained about this, that like, oh, I'm mad because I bought the collector's edition like a month ago, but I'm gonna fucking buy this. Let's be realistic.
I mean, it's a physical copy of the game. It's what you wanted.
Exactly. It's what I wanted. But, like...
And plus, buying it a second time for the Switch is a good idea, because then you can take it with you.
But I already own it for the Switch.
Oh, you got the Switch one. Okay.
Yeah, I bought the collector's edition, and it turned out to be for the Switch.
Oh, I thought it was the PS4 one you bought.
I was looking at buying the PS4 one, but then I was like, oh, they have... Because when I went into EB Games at the time, they only had the Switch one. But anyway, first of all, I'd like to say that reversible covers based on old school consoles make my dick hard.
And that looks really good.
Like, that looks amazing. It looks like something that you would actually see on the Genesis. Genesis does, in fact, do what Nintendo doesn't.
Yes.
I know it's Nintendo. I don't give a fuck. Now, second... Oh, God.
And you can get a look at the art book, too, because they show a picture of the art book open.
Yeah, and that's really nice that they show you an actual picture from the art book instead of the art, just like, here's the cover of the art book.
The only... The only thing that would have made my dick harder with this is if the fucking case itself was a steel book with a fucking sleeve.
Oh my god, yes. But like them replicating classic cover art with like the Genesis logo and stuff. Nintendo did something similar when they released Fire Emblem Echoes because it's a remake of, I want to say, Fire Emblem Gaiden. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and their thing was like, oh, it looks like a Famicom case, and I was like, oh my god, you fuckers, like my dick is
Did they really do that? I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. Have you not seen it? I'm gonna Google this right now.
And for the European folks, the reversible cover will say Mega Drive instead of Genesis.
That's good.
Attention to detail, +1 for Sega.
Good on you, Sega.
So, after they went into the whole thing here with the collector's edition, they went into talk about, again, the IDW Sonic comics and the realm that's going to be in, and it's going to be pretty much like a whole new story. There is actually a brand new character that's going to be introduced to the Sonic franchise. She's a ringtail, one of those ringtail animals.
Ringtail fox?
Like a raccoon?
Something like that, like a ringtail fox. Cipher, if you
oh, dude.
I would say...
Sorry, I shaved the Fire Emblem thing.
If you try to Google, like, the new Sonic character, you might be able to find it. She's like a grayish-white character.
I might, but it's probably just going to be a bunch of fan art.
Because I don't remember the character's name. I would have to go back into it and look at it again.
Cold Steel the Hedgehog.
It is a girl character, and her powers are pretty fucking... Her powers, from what they described her as, she sounds pretty neat as a character. And then obviously Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, the whole gang is going to be in the show, or in the comic series. Then they went on to say that at the end of the broadcast, they, on the Sega shop, they were going to have a bundle of the first 4 issues of the Sonic comic. The 4th issue will have a special variant cover, and you get a bonus mystery Sonic t-shirt bundled in with the comic books. And you know I had to jump on that shit in half a minute. Because I did. $50 later, I won't get it until May 1st, because obviously the first 4 issues have to have been released in order for them to ship them all at one time. So that cost me $50.10 after tax, shipping, and whatnot. The bundle itself is $40. Now, I think that's a good price, because in the United States, a comic book is like $4 to $5 anyway per issue. So you're looking at anywhere from $16 to $20 just for the comics.
Wait. That's for, like, normal paperback comic books, right? Like,
yeah. Yep. Yes.
Jesus Christ, we pay like $10 a fucking comic book. Like, I was at the local store the other day. I don't mean to go back into story time, but keep in mind that I also like to buy my comic books collected because they come in nicer, well-bound tone, like almost graphic novel stuff. So I was looking at a copy of, I think it's Venom Maximum Carnage, because I really like Venom, but like I haven't read any of the Venom comics. since Venom became kind of an anti-hero in the 90s. So I wasn't super knowledgeable about Spider-Man, even though he's what I read the most as a kid. And apparently that's $50 Canadian, plus tax.
Well, it depends, too, on how old they are, because once they're collectible, the price will go up.
No, it was like a graphic novel, though. It was like a collected... This is the entire story arc of Maximum Carnage. But anyway, yeah, so you said that it's $40 and it's worth it.
I think it's worth it because just for the 4 issues alone, you're looking at about $16 to $20 US.
Okay.
A T-shirt in the United States alone, anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on how, the material and how well it's made and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus you get a digital code for each issue of the comics.
Oh my god! So even if you're a collector, you can actually collect it.
Yeah, you don't have to open it, and you can still read it.
Oh, that's awesome!
I love that.
They also revealed the cover for the first issue. Cipher, you could pull that one up. Definitely, I know you could. If you could pull that image up for me, just type in IDW Sonic Comic Issue 1. You should be able to find the cover. If you show me the art, I'll know exactly which one it is.
Okay, I think I may have found it. It looks vaguely like Sonic X's art style. Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Son of a bitch. Okay, this is it. This is it. It's him running, right?
Yeah, it says Sonic the Hedgehog across the top.
Yeah, I found it on IDW's website.
Is it that one?
That's from IDW, man. That's gotta be it.
That must be a variant cover because the one they showed today is completely different. But
Fuck. God damn it.
Let me see if I could find it. So anyway, so they go into that, and then they're winding. They're starting to wind down with this, and at the end. First, they show a shoe partnership with Puma shoes for Sonic the Hedgehog shoes.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm down for that.
I'll wear some Sonic shoes.
Well, I mean, they made soap shoes based on Sonic back in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
So they show that, and then they act like they're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like they act like they're kind of done, and then as they're ending it, like it fades to black, and then you just hear, car revving up. You hear car sounds, car revving up, and then
Smash.
And then you see, like the front end of a car coming out of a shadow with the headlights on. And then see, like, the side view of a car. Meanwhile, all you hear is the car revving up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you see is, like, the silhouette of the logo of the new game. And the only part of the logo that's lit up is the R. And it's the same exact R as in the Sonic R game that they released back in the 90s. So
That wasn't Cars.
But that wasn't Cars, that was foot racing.
No, but I'm thinking it's going to be some kind of racing game.
Yeah.
Because
Sonic and All-Stars Racing.
I hope so, man.
It could
those
be.
Games are actually super fun.
I really like those games.
It could be a new one of those, but that didn't have real cars either.
No, it did. To an extent. I mean, Sonic drove like a
go-kart. Or like a proper...
I mean, yeah, it's a go-karting game, not like legit racing game.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Sonic and All-Stars racing games are great, so I think...
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they're going with again, I think it could be pretty good.
Or it could just be a new IP, or to an extent, a new Sonic IP. Because there's never been any Sonic game with like legitimate cars.
Actually, there has. It's called Sonic Drift.
Never heard of it.
That was.
It was Game Gear. Game Gear.
Yeah,
no
that one was Game Gear, and we only got the second one.
Remake of that. Who knows?
Okay.
I'm interested to see. I mean, I was Sonic 3 was one of the first games I ever played. So I have a nice spot for Sonic in my heart. It's just he's been garbage a lot recently.
Yeah.
But I want Sonic to come back.
Sonic is like when you're a kid and you have like your childhood hero, and then you become an adult and realize that your childhood hero is actually like a horrible drug addict and an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's like you want them to redeem themselves, but they're not going to, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mania is a step in the right direction.
Yes, absolutely.
And then there's Forces, but we can forget about that.
So then, after that they did a Q&A, and they let fans come up and talking about, asking questions, about the games. People were asking about Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the phone, on mobile, and they said that it is possible. They had to steal Christian Whitehead away to make Mania. So that's why, we haven't seen it yet. So they may have hinted at us possibly getting that as well for anybody who wants it on mobile, which, isn't a bad thing.
No, not necessarily.
And I, for the life of me, can't find this new fucking comic book.
Give
it a day.
What I was gonna say regarding the Sonic questions thing, I was really hoping that someone would ask either, can Sonic beat Goku, or when is there going to be a comic series based on Knuckles, and Knuckles?
Yeah,
featuring Knuckles and Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Yeah, that didn't actually happen.
Mode.
That didn't actually happen.
Did it actually?
No, it didn't.
Oh, I was hoping
you said it did.
Yeah, I thought you said it did, and I got really excited.
Oh, you know what? I'm a fucking knob.
Here. You said it, not me.
This is the new cover. I fucking had it all day long.
Guys, Knuckles, and Knuckles.
That's the new cover art they showed off today, only obviously in a bigger version of it.
Oh, neat.
And the only reason that's actually the bundle that you get, the 4 comics and the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason, obviously, that they have, all 4 comics look the same is because the other art isn't revealed yet.
Well, yeah.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, that's actually the new art that they revealed today.
But that's 5 comics.
Wait, what? 1, 2... Holy fuck, it is. Nutty the fuck?
Dude, they only said 4. And
Maybe they're giving a bonus.
On the website, it only says 4. It says issue 1 through 4.
Maybe let's be realistic here. A graphic designer probably fucked up.
Yeah, it even says on the tweet. It even says on the tweet, limited edition Sonic the Hedgehog IDW comic series bundle includes numbers 1 through 4 of IDW's new Sonic comic book series. Plus
someone fucked up.
Plus an exclusive variant cover of issue 4. An exclusive mystery t-shirt and digital downloads of Sonic's issues number 1 through 4. So maybe you're going to get 2 copies of issue 4, the regular cover and the variant cover.
I think someone fucked up.
Yeah, I think somebody fucked up. So here's what I want. I want there to be a Sonic, not a game, but like a Sonic comic where Sonic behaves like an actual hedgehog. So basically what I want is he runs 6 feet per second, but he's nearsighted to the point of being blind.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Tails will eat him. When he takes a shit, he just keeps running. Because that's what hedgehogs do. They just take crap wherever and they keep moving.
Me.
Okay, I was able...
has 5 dicks, because Echidnas had 5 dicks. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh, yeah.
I was able to find the Puma shoes.
Oh, were you? Ooh. Sweet. I want to see these.
Now, obviously, the picture looks pixelated because the final design on the shoes aren't finalized yet.
Sure.
But this gives you a general idea of what they're going to look like.
Oh, I was hoping they were actually like based on Sonic's shoes.
Yeah. But I like them.
Sad.
I like them.
Nah, I don't like blue.
I mean, it's blue. There's some yellow, some green, some white, some red.
I don't think I'd ever wear them personally.
I don't think I would
But I
either.
like the design.
I don't.
Yeah, I was hoping like it was actually like, oh hey, these are Sonic shoes.
I'm gonna Google that. Can you buy Sonic shoes? Probably.
I mean, you probably can. Someone probably made them.
Yeah, probably.
Probably on Etsy for like $1 million. Well, apparently in 2017 you can now officially own Sonic shoes.
That was last year.
Yeah, they don't really look great. They look kind of like, you know those those flat sneakers that like stereotypical hipsters and like middle class kids wear.
Are these the ones you're looking at?
Let me see.
Oh shit! I just said that to my friend. Whoops.
Why did you send me shoes?
No, not you. Are those the ones you're looking
those.
at?
Yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah,
They
ew.
look awful, and they have Sonic written on the back, and that makes me mad.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's really nasty. That makes me sad.
So yeah, so that was South by Southwest. I thought it was pretty interesting. I was slightly disappointed, but they made up for it, like at the very end, especially with that sneaky fucking reveal.
Everyone's doing sneaky fucking reveals at the
Yeah, like
end.
NIS, Nintendo.
They did say Sonic Mania Plus will be out this summer, so it's probably going to be around the same time frame that the original Mania came out last year.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was SxSW, whatever the fuck you want to say for short. So that being said, let's actually get into some of this news now. I want to start with the Neptunia tweet and just get that out of the way.
Let me just look for it, because I have to scroll through our backlog a little bit. So basically what happened was there was a Neptunia tweet by Artisan Studios that just says, "Who said Brave Neptunia was a platformer?" And then it's a picture of Nepgear. I think that's Nepgear, isn't it?
No,
Or is that
that's
Nep herself?
That's
Because
Neptune.
it's kind of super deformed, so I can't tell.
Yeah, it's
It's
Neptune.
Neptune, and then you can see Nepgear behind her.
Yeah, you
Fuck,
can.
oh yeah, you totally can. Holy shit.
Neptune's got that fucking wide-eyed smile going on.
God. I don't like the way she looks in this art, but anyway, so I guess that
That's
means
from the anime.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
God, was the anime bad? Because it looks like it's bad.
I didn't watch it. I
Gross.
watched an episode.
It's all right. I mean, for what it is for a budget anime, it wasn't bad. At least it stuck to the source material for the most part.
Yeah, the Xenosaga. I mean, could be worse, right? It could be the Xenosaga anime.
So underneath the tweet, they then continued to tag Siliconera, Destructoid, and Gamitsu.com for
He's trying
publishing
to start fire.
articles about their game, calling it a platformer.
The news wars have begun. The info wars, if you will.
So now, we talked about this in part 3 of episode 10. We were talking about, how, it could be a cool game to be a platformer. We were also talking about, the other kinds of Nep games we wouldn't mind seeing, like a fighting game or a Neptune, Neptune karting game or something.
Fuck yeah, I'd buy a console cart.
What if this actually is a fighting game?
If this is a fighting game, then I need to go, because I need to go jerk off to the thought of that.
Because if it's not a platformer, then what else could it be?
You were saying in chat the other day, though, that you were thinking that it's possible it could be a side-scroller in the vein of, Exist Archive or Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those, and if that's the case, that could be pretty neat, too.
Because that's also not necessarily a platformer, but it's close enough to one that, they could have made that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, because there are platforming. I don't know if you watched any of me playing the game on screen share last night during the call.
For Exist Archive, or...
For Exist Archive, yeah. They're there are moments where you have to jump gaps. So,
Yeah.
But, obviously you don't get penalized for not making the jump. But
okay.
it's still like a platformer in a sense. So maybe it's going to be something like that, which it could still have the turn-based RPG aspect to it with the 2D side scrolling and a 3D environment.
I, for one, was really hoping for a side-scroller in the vein of Prinny, Can I Really Be the Hero by Nipponichi?
Mhm.
which is like a hard as hell 2D action game that's like you're given 999 lives, but you play as a Prinny. So you're given either 3 hits or 1 hit, and you die. And then you start over from the checkpoint. But you learn all these various tricks and stuff to keep yourself alive. So I was kind of hoping it would be an action platformer in the vein of that. But now that we know that it's, you know, a side-scroller, with that, I don't really know what expectations I have for this now.
What if it's like a brawler type game, like Streets of Rage or some shit like that?
I don't really like brawlers that much, dude. Like the only beat 'em up style games that I like are Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oof.
I'm sad that they took that off the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, it must have been for licensing.
It
It must have been over licensing, but who knows?
Yeah,
this game could still be a platformer. Maybe this tweet was just meant to throw us off.
That's what I was thinking. Is they're just being cheeky pricks about it, and it's possible that it's a platformer.
I mean, yeah, because they're not saying it's not.
They're just saying
like,
who said it was.
Basically implying that it's not, but at the same time, it still could be.
Yeah, it's like they're implying that it's not, but it might be. I still hope that we get a Nep fighting game and also a Nep kart racer.
Oh, so do I, dude.
I'd
so
be
do
down.
I.
That's all I want. I want to be able to play as fucking... Basically, I want Nep, but I want it to be a DOA-style fighting game where Vert has Gynaxing. She's the only character with jiggle physics.
So let's talk real quick about Geralt being in Soul Calibur 6 as the guest character.
Yep. CD Projekt Red recently revealed that Geralt from The Witcher is going to be in Soul Cal 6. Then you get... Basically, it says here that players will be able to fight on Kaer Morhen, which is the home of the School of the Wolf. They did give a brief character bio for Geralt as well, but I'm not going to get into that. It just says here that the game will replicate his signature fighting style with a combination of swordplay, potions, and magic.
And if you want to see the video trailer, it's on my Facebook page, linked in the description box below.
Doug Cockle, the English voice of Geralt, will be returning for Soul Calibur 6 to reprise the role. Accompanying players in battle will be Hunter B. Hunted, an iconic composition from The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. And then there's a bunch of screen caps of Geralt and some art and stuff. I could not give a shit about Soul Calibur.
Really?
I love fighting games, dude. I really enjoyed Soul Calibur 2 and 3, but since Soul Calibur 4, the series has gone downhill, in my opinion.
Well, this is meant to be like more of a reboot / sequel?
I guess, but look, my opinion on this is it's not the Bloodborne Hunter. I don't care.
I mean, it's not to say you don't care about the game, you just don't care about the character, I guess.
Yeah, basically. It's like, I was really hoping we'd get the Bloodborne Hunter for PlayStation, because, like, Sony owns that property.
Right.
Right? But what Soul Calibur has been doing since, I think, Broken Destiny and 5, is that they just pick one guest character that is on all 3 consoles that is super popular.
Oh, really?
It was Ezio in 5 last I checked.
Well, technically, Nintendo hasn't been getting Soul Calibur since 2.
2, yeah.
So, and in 4, they picked... PlayStation got Yoda, and Xbox got Vader. From Star Wars.
Yeah, and then you could get... I think it was DLC to unlock the other one?
Later on, yes. They added the other character.
They did not balance those characters very well, because Vader was awesome. Like, he was really well balanced and fun to play.
And Yoda was hard to hit.
A fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, Yoda was hard to hit.
Like, Yoda had such a tiny hitbox. All of his moves were really agile. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about Nep, but with DOA physics.
Oh, God.
You can go jerk off later,
but you can hear my throbbing erection, can't you?
A little.
So,
oh my God.
Quite honestly, I think it's an interesting choice, although I'm not a fan of The Witcher. Obviously, I will try the character out, because
I quite like The Witcher. I just hope that when they write his... Because Soul Calibur, nobody gives a fuck about the story, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of people did, because they got pretty mad at 5.
Whatever. I heard 5 was basically just incest, the story, and like characters were really fucking stupid when they didn't have to be.
The story of 5 was trash, and they took out a lot of fan favorite characters for some really shitty ones.
Basically, it was kind of like, my opinion of this is I hope that they retain some of the writing that makes Geralt a lovable character, because Geralt's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
If you guys have ever played The Witcher, like, he's a fucking cunt.
But he has his reasons.
And that makes him lovable.
Yeah.
And he's just so fucking snarky. Like, The Witcher, if you like RPGs, and you like action RPGs specifically, and you haven't played The Witcher, I highly recommend that you go out, and you don't even need to play the first two. I mean, you should, but you don't need to. Go out and buy The Witcher 3. Because, man, that game, its first area loads you up with so many side quests and things to do. I swear to God, I spent 6 hours in the tutorial region. Just doing side quests. Because the thing about The Witcher is that it takes all of these common fantasy tropes, like medieval tropes, and turns them on their head, and it's really clever and really well executed. And then on top of that, each side quest actually has a storyline and makes you feel like you're making an impact. And I love that about it. Like, even the side quest, like, some of the side quests are like notice board stuff where it's like, oh, I need you to go do this for me, and it's like, okay, but then all the major side quests are shit like, hey, I'm a dwarf, some asshole is racist against me and burnt my smith to the ground. Now I'm poor. Like, go find who did this. And then you fucking turn on your fucking Batman detective vision and you do it. Or, there's another one very early on that's like, oh, there's weird sounds coming from a well. And then not only do you go out and you find out that it's like some kind of wraith, but you also get to plan around it, you get to kill it, and you get to determine why it's there, and basically what happened, and it's really neat. I really like how the game is written. As a writer, The Witcher is one of the best written RPGs I've ever played, and I haven't finished it yet. Also, there's some really sexy ladies in The Witcher. I'm saying that as a meme. I honestly could not give a fuck. Despite me joking about, like, oh, Vert in DOA Nep with Gynax, and, like, I honestly couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But if that's your thing and you like attractive looking character designs, like, they have some pretty good ones. But anyway, yeah, The Witcher's really good. I'm kind of sad it's not the Bloodborne Hunter for PS4, but whatever. They didn't announce a Switch version. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Bandai Namco is not supporting the Switch already when they were one of the companies that were on board with it.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm guessing Xenoverse 2 didn't sell that well for them. I mean, who expected it to? Because I didn't.
I honestly didn't, because it was already out on PS4 last I checked.
Yeah, and it is.
Switch.
Xbox and PS4.
Yeah,
but
and if I'm honest, like, in addition to that, it is my belief that the thing is, like, you said Soul Calibur hasn't been on a Nintendo console since
2, when Link was the guest character.
That's not actually true. It was Soul Calibur Chronicles was a Wii exclusive, and it wasn't terrible.
I never heard of that one, as I skipped the Wii, so.
It was either Chronicles or Legends. I don't remember the name of the game, but Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia was the guest character.
Yes, okay. That's what I was thinking of that, but, like, maybe I made that up in my head, because I remember Lloyd being in a Soul Calibur game.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe that's not real.
But it was like an action-adventure, like, it wasn't great, because there was no actual fighting mechanic last I checked. It was just a shoddily made action game that was kind of... It was average, but for Namco or whoever... Basically for Soul Calibur, you would have expected better.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fairly good Wii game that people... It was bad for Soul Calibur, but it was good for a Wii game, basically.
Sure. So, Monster Hunter, and Sean seems to be okay with this. Monster Hunter World is adding a paid character creation do-over system this spring into the game.
Yeah, so basically what you get... Now, for those of you who don't have Monster Hunter World, what happens is you make your character, and you make them, and then that character, like,
I think it's all of your facial proportions, all of your, like, everything except for, I think it's your hair, your facial markings, and I want to say, like,
Your hair, your facial hair, makeup, paint, and clothing can all be done like inside the game, but like your face and all that shit, you can't redo at all.
Yeah, it's like if you want to add or remove a scar to your character, or like makeup or whatever, you can do that. But if you want to, like, if you fuck up in character creation and your, like, jawline is too big or too wide or whatever, you can't change that.
Yeah.
Now, basically what they're going to be doing is Capcom previously said that there'd be enough fan demand that they'd be doing this, and there's actually a screen cap of somebody making Final Form Frieza in Monon.
I was just gonna say, why this motherfucker look like Frieza?
I don't understand. But basically it says here you will get a Hunter appearance ticket, which will be available as a paid item in spring 2018. They do not have a date, and they do not have a pricing. But we can try. We get a free one today to try this system out. Capcom noted that the free ticket will only come with one. When the paid version releases, it will be a one-time use for one character. And if you have multiple characters, the ticket will be spent after using it on one of them. So I would assume that means that it carries over, like, it carries between characters, and you can just use it on whichever one you want. It says here hairstyles, facial hair, makeup, paint, and clothing can still be done at your item box or home and do not require this. My only concern with this is, like, as I said in chat yesterday when Sean and I were talking about this, or whatever day it was, my hope is that if I decide to go into character appearance and not change anything, or just, like, I look and decide not to, that I can still retain that appearance ticket.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not like you need the ticket to access the menu. I hope that it's more you can use the menu, and then when you hit finalize, that's when it uses the ticket.
Well, I think it would be stupid if it makes you spend the ticket just to get into the menu.
Yeah.
That would be kind of dumb.
I mean, to be fair, though, in today's day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if that is in fact the case.
I just hope... I don't want this to be a fucking main thing in video games that are, like, heavy on character creation. First we got this in Metal Gear Survive, where you're basically paying for extra character slots, or aka save slots for the game. Now you're going to be paying for character do-over creation.
But see, that one's not mandatory. Because, like, just don't fuck up in the first... Like, if you fucked up right at the beginning of the game, delete it and start over.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, with the wrestling games, if you want to create more than one character, because let's face it, in wrestling games you do that, I don't want to have to charge... I don't want to have to pay, like, $5 or $10 every time I want to make a new character.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to become a...
I don't want this to become a norm, and if it does, I'm going to be really pissed the fuck off.
I want to say I'm the resident MMO player. This kind of shit has been MMO for years. Like,
well, yeah. I mean,
bait slots, character remakes, like all of this shit. It's been in those games for years. So if it's an MMO, yeah, it is the...
Like, I would argue that at its core, Monster Hunter is an MMO.
Yeah, it's a pseudo MMO.
It's a pseudo
more so
MMO.
now.
So it's like, I'm okay with this. I think that, the fact they're letting you do it once for free is completely... They don't have to do that, and that's totally admirable of them that they are doing it. I think that my main concern with this is I'm curious as to whether they're going to rectify certain issues with cutscenes. Because apparently a while back, one of the directors, or someone who worked on it, made the statement that your character will look kind of weird in certain cutscenes when in motion. Because the game, like the engine that they render it in, does not account for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that personally. Like, my character looked kind of weird sometimes, but then other times he looked fine to me.
Yeah, like, I don't think mine has looked terribly weird in any of the scenes, but I also... The only thing I want... There's two things I want them to patch in. The first is that after I reach, like, a certain hunter rank, I want the ability to change my handler to someone who doesn't make me want to just murder them.
Oh, God. Don't get me fucking started.
Like, like, I think we talked about this, but at the beginning of the game when you're on the ship and the redheaded guy sits down across from you, and then his handler is like a short kind of, she's like short-haired, short black hair, or whatever.
Yeah, dark hair.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want her as the handler. Because I like her character design, I like her voice, and she seems, from what little you see of her, to have her shit together and not be a retard.
Yeah, and we could bitch about fucking the handler in Monster Hunter all goddamn fucking day.
Oh, I fucking could. I hate her with a passion.
I do also want to mention, for those who do give a shit about Monster Hunter, that wasn't the only thing announced recently.
Oh no, we're getting Devil Yo in the next couple of days too.
They're adding the Devil Joe, or as fans of the series, the fucking Demon Pickle. And they're also finally doing some weapon adjustments.
Yeah, so now Longsword isn't going to be like the be-all, end-all of online play.
I don't know about that. I'm actually reading some of the patch notes, and literally everything's just bugged.
Wait, what?
Like, I can send you this.
Please do.
Like, from what I'm reading, I'm kind of skimming it, but a lot of it's just...
Okay, let's see what we got here. World details, bunch of weapon adjustments, so getting weapon buffs and adjustments. Increases damage on great sword slashes, improvements for foresight slash, timing, and... Okay, I want to look at my weapon in particular, because I honestly couldn't give a shit about half of these.
Yeah. But plus that, they're adding the first seasonal event, April 6th. It's spring blossom shit. I don't know. They're adding dailies and whatnot, and looks like a new weapon. Oh yeah, a community created weapon. So a fan made this weapon design, so that's kind of cool.
That's neat.
And also April 13th, the Mega Man collab that will begin.
So, Cardfight Vanguard is a thing that exists, if anybody remembers or even knows what it is.
I do, actually.
Cardfight Vanguard, for, in my opinion, is probably the best card game made by Bushy Road Entertainment. They are finally getting a game. It was supposed to happen on the 3DS years ago. Never did. And a game called Cardfight Online was canceled, I believe, a year and a half ago. I got to play the closed beta of Cardfight Online, and that game was really good. It says Bushy Road previously announced a digital online card game called Cardfight Online. Unfortunately, didn't pan out. Fans got pissed. It got canceled. This reveal comes from the announcement of a season for the Vanguard anime that will tell a new story with the return of Aichi Sendo, Toshiki Kai, and as its main protagonists. Now, of course, the other character pictured in here is Ren Sugimori, and he was one of the main villains of the early seasons of the anime. It's pretty cool they're bringing back the older characters, in my opinion. I'm looking at the screenshots here for the game, and I am really interested for this game. Says for the new smartphone game titled Cardfight Vanguard Zero, it will release in Japan in winter 2018. An English version has been confirmed, but a release window has yet to be released. In addition to the first look of the above images, Bushy Road says the game will have a story mode that will let you relive the anime, and you'll get to enjoy card fighting against rivals anytime. Cardfight Vanguard Zero releases in Japan winter 2018 for iOS and Android, and a release in the West later. So it's going to come out next year for America and pretty much everybody else.
Okay. Well, I had two things I wanted to say about this. Firstly, how does it compare to Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh growing up.
It really doesn't. It's a completely different card game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, I actually have some of my Vanguard cards here. Just showing you guys a few of them on screen. I am, in Vanguard, your cards have classes. So, like, there's, for instance, there's Tachikaze is dinosaurs. Norokami is like ninjas. Spike Brothers is kind of like football, like American football-ish.
Oh, that sounds kind of funny.
What?
Nova Grapplers is like wrestling.
Oh, yes.
Neo Nectar is plants and plant-based dragons, which is actually the clan that I actually side with.
Okay.
Then you have other cards. You have Royal Paladins, which are like Royal Knights. Shadow Paladins, which are like Dark Knights. It's pretty cool. If you look at the screenshots, you see the playing field is a hell of a lot different than Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
You get 2 rows. You get a front row and a back row, and in the middle is called your guard circle, and that's how you protect yourself from getting damaged. If you ever want to learn the game someday, I'd be glad to teach it to you.
I'm interested. Like, I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot.
Put it this way. This game is like a fusion between kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, almost.
That's what I was thinking when you were telling me about it. Was kind of the two of them. But, so I don't know if you guys remember, because there were a lot of card games released when I was growing up. Like, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Had their card games, and both of those, like, I never played Pokemon all that much, but I loved the fuck out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even as an adult, I really enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I've played the Yu-Gi-Oh! PSP games to hell and back. You guys remember Chaotix and Bakugan?
Yes. I actually still have some of my Bakugan.
I don't have my Bakugan anymore, which makes me sad, but...
I told you the story about how I ran a role-playing forum for Bakugan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's on the podcast, actually.
I might have. I don't remember. If I didn't, that's another story for another day, but
yeah, I remember Chaotix being a thing growing up. I think that was actually Canadian.
So was Duel Masters.
Chaotix is not very good. And Future Card Buddy Fight was a thing that existed, and so was Duel Masters.
Future Card Buddy Fight is actually a newer game. It came after Vanguard and Weiss Wars.
I'm not familiar with Weiss Wars.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you about Weiss another day, but
yeah,
it's got Miku in it, so that makes me happy.
Is Luca in it? Because I don't give a fuck about Miku.
Miku, all the Vocaloids are in it. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, so Weiss is another story for another day. But yeah, Buddy Fight is like a newer game. It came after Vanguard, and that also has an anime which I haven't watched. But speaking on Vanguard, I dropped Yu-Gi-Oh! For Vanguard, so that tells you something. I think.
Oh fuck! Okay, then I will have to try it because I don't want to play Magic.
I know think
guys that are like Magic is their whole fucking life, and I don't want to be one of those people.
I know a lot of people who play Magic.
Put it this way, Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! I played it for about 15 years. Let me tell you, I have not played a single game of Yu-Gi-Oh! in almost 4 or 5 years from now. I don't know any of the new rules. I don't know about this fucking link summon bullshit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Pendulum summons and all, like the last thing I knew about was XYZ summons. That was it. But I just
what are XYZ summons? When the fuck was that?
That was the Zexal period with the black cards.
Oh, all I remember is synchro summons.
Oh, okay. So you didn't go.
I stopped after 5Ds.
So you okay? So you didn't go. You didn't go as deep as I did. I went a little deeper.
Oh fuck no.
But
I heard Zexal was worse. So yeah, I was like, because 5Ds wasn't terrible in my opinion. It just wasn't great.
I thought 5Ds was pretty good for what it was. But
the only problem I had with 5Ds was that have you guys ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force?
Dude, I played all the World Championship games.
No, I'm talking about Tag Force specifically. It's not a championship game.
Oh, yeah, I played the last one in that series.
5, I guess, is the last one that we got. I'm kind of sad that they didn't include the turbo duels in that, like the speed ones.
Well, they saved all the bigger and better stuff for the World Championship games, and then those games stopped.
The problem is most of those World Championship ones are only on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, well, but then we got, I think the best game that you can play right now is Millennium Duels.
Yeah, it's on PS4, right?
Yeah, and there's a version of it, I think it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation Duels on the phones, which is a more updated version of Millennium Duels. But
thing I've always found interesting about Yu-Gi-Oh, not to cut you off, is that in most of these games, I don't know if they're all developed by the same team, but the protagonist always has the same general look.
yeah, I think they're all made by the same
Yeah,
developer.
it's always like a dude who wears a lot of red and their face is obscured like kind of by a hat.
Yeah, yep. So I dropped Yu-Gi-Oh for Vanguard. Like,
Okay.
you know how some of the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, like, they could be really fucking broken, and you could build a deck of like some of the best cards, and you'll
Man.
pretty much win almost every time.
When I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in, I want to say, Tag Force 2 had just dropped, so GX was still the big thing. Using the current band list, if you had a deck comprised mostly of dragons, you could find a way to summon 5-God Dragon in like one turn, and basically wipe out the opposing player in 1 or 2 turns.
Jesus.
Like,
I
yeah,
don't remember how I did it as a kid.
like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like some of the cards, especially nowadays, from what I've been hearing, are so broken. Like, now you could play like 20 to 30 cards per turn in your first turn if you
Yeah,
build a
that's
deck like that. Whereas now in Vanguard, now, I mean, yeah, it does take some luck of the draw in Vanguard, but there are other scenarios that'll play out in a game that will turn the tide of battle. Like in Vanguard, you have these cards called triggers, and there's 4 triggers. There's a heal trigger, a critical trigger, a stand trigger, and a draw trigger.
But there's no Blaze Blue Calamity trigger.
A critical trigger will allow you to deal 1 extra damage if drawn during your drive phase, which is where you draw a card, and if it's got a trigger symbol, the trigger effect activates immediately.
So you're triggered.
Pretty much.
You're triggered.
So yeah, so a critical trigger allows you to deal 1 extra damage. A heal trigger, if you have equal or more damage dealt to you than your opponent, you can heal 1 damage.
Okay.
A stand trigger means you could set one of your cards to attack again
Stando power.
in the same turn. And a draw
Okay.
trigger means you could draw 1 extra card immediately.
I like that.
And every trigger also grants your attacking unit 5,000 bonus points. Like a trigger, you can assign the 5,000 bonus attack points to any of your attacking units.
Okay, now I need to get into this.
It's a really good card game. Like I could give you a website where you could like look into the cards and stuff and build a deck.
Tell me, right? Can you challenge other players to shadow children's card games, where they will be sent to hell if they lose?
I mean, it doesn't go that deep.
What's the point?
The game itself
what's-
though is really good. The game itself is really good.
I can't humiliate you in the sense that I've beaten you in a children's card game and I've stolen your immortal soul. There's no point.
I mean, that's all fucking memes anyway nowadays. But the game itself,
it's
is
real
good.
life.
real life. If you die,
If you die in the card game, you die for...
Oh, fucking memes.
If you die in Yu-Gi-Oh, you die in real life.
All right, let's leave the memes out of this.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, Vanguard's a good card game. If you ever want to get into it, I could certainly teach you how to play it.
Okay.
It's a great game. I'll send you a link to where you could look
All right.
up the cards and build a deck, and you could actually play it online for free.
But can you play it on motorcycles? I'm sorry, I'm done. Now, in all seriousness, so let's move on. So on the 20th of this month, Nintendo is having another Nindies showcase between 9 a.m. Pacific time and 12 p.m. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time, but it's 12 p.m. Eastern time. It says here, it turns out we'll be getting a Nintendo Direct and Nindies showcase in the same month, because they revealed that on March 20th they will be airing a Nindies Spring Showcase on YouTube at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 p.m. Pacific. Wait, what? That can't be right. Eastern. 12 p.m. Eastern. It says Pacific, but it should be Eastern.
Yeah, the person who wrote this is a fucking idiot. Anyways.
Yeah, whoever wrote this is fucking more retard. But it also says here, Nintendo did not reveal any of the games that will be covered. All we know is that it will focus on Switch games. Among the upcoming titles planned for the system are Undertale, who the fuck cares, Wargroove 2048, Wargroove 2048 Read-Only Memories, Runbow, and Runner 3. Now, I haven't looked into any of these.
I've heard of Runbow before, but that's it.
I've heard of
Runner.
Runner.
Undertale. I hope that they highlight some existing indie titles on the Switch. Like, okay, firstly, I've been playing and looking at a lot of stuff. So, Dandara is really interesting because it's a game where you're kind of almost, there's no directional movement. It's all through jumping between the ceiling and the floor at different angles.
Fucking cat!
But it's also a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Which is neat. I haven't actually played that one, but I have played Celeste.
Mm-hmm.
And I have played Battle Chef Brigade, so Celeste is literally
Fucking
the world's hardest
cat.
platformer.
Fucking hate cats. Dude, the fucking cat just knocked everything over. Knocked my PS4 off my fucking... my thing. Knocked my fucking Switch down.
God damn it.
Fucking got shit everywhere now.
Fuck your games, love me, damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking strangle these fucking animals.
Anyway, so... as I was saying, so Celeste is really good. I highly recommend it if you like platformers. It is extremely difficult. It's the Dark Souls. It's platformers. It's,
Don't say that to me. I'll fucking hate you forever.
But, it's actually extremely hard. It's basically the focus of the game is on climbing, precision platforming, and dashing.
Okay.
And basically you get one air dash, and every time your feet touch the floor, your dash recuperates. Like, you regain your dash.
Okay.
However, each level introduces a new mechanic or mechanics.
Okay.
So, like, in the first one, you get the dash, and the dash stays with you the entire game. In the second one, it's, first of all, you're being chased throughout the entire level. But the thing that's chasing you copies your movements, including your mistakes.
Okay.
In addition to that, there are surfaces that when you dash through them, you maintain your momentum in the direction that you dash. So, and you can also use that to dash through spikes, provided that... And it also doesn't actually use up your dash. In the third one, it's, oh, fuck, what is it? I don't remember. But in I think it's the fourth one, it's, bubbles that propel you in whatever direction you choose, a very short distance, and recuperate your like, they give you your dash back, so you can dash multiple times. In the fifth one, it's you're moving... it's two of them. You've got like your dash bubbles again, but they only propel you in one direction. But you can still dash out of it. And you're also moving your friend who's trapped in a crystal. Like, it's not an escort quest, but you have to move him to the end goal as well.
Okay.
And one of the final stages introduces the it's like a feather that lets you move kind of freely for a set length of time. But anyway, so they don't pile up these mechanics on you. It's always just one per stage. But each screen of Celeste is like a 20-minute affair. Like, I was playing it the other day in one of our calls, and I think I died 256 times.
Jesus.
And most of it was on, like, the last 3 screens.
Now I just spent the last 5 fucking minutes looking like a moron because I had to pick all my shit up off the floor.
That sucks.
The
But,
fucking cat
so
sent
Celeste-
my fucking SNES Mini flying across the fucking room. Oh my god, I'm just fucking pissed right now. Anyways.
Yeah. So Celeste is really good. I hope they kind of showcase that a bit more. Or a bit. And also Battle Chef Brigade, which I think came out in November. Battle Chef Brigade is it's an anime-esque game wherein basically people hunt monsters for ingredients and use them to make food. And that sounds like a really stupid premise, but like basically you challenge other chefs to cooking contests that are based on that are basically just Iron Chef, if you've ever seen that show.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out, you fight the monsters in like a beat 'em up style side scroller to get the ingredients. You can only carry so many of them at a time, so you have to return to the kitchen. Then you make the dish, and the dish is basically a match 3.
Okay.
But it's actually one of the best match 3s I've ever played. Like, it's genuinely enjoyable.
Huh.
The story's actually pretty good. Almost all of the characters are likable, or they serve their purpose. And the game has this really interesting way of teaching you mechanics where to teach you how to better play the match 3, there's puzzles.
Okay.
And there's, I think, 2 of them there's so many of them per chapter, and basically you do one of those before you had the option of doing one of those before every match to gain money, which you can use to get equipment.
Okay.
To make the matches easier. So like you can buy, for example, one of the items is like it will immediately give you gems that are of a certain level, because what happens is when you match 3 gems, they turn into a gem of a higher level that is worth more points and makes the dish taste better. It's really good. I really like it. It's really innovative. It's the only match 3 I've ever played and enjoyed that isn't Honey Pop.
Mm-hmm.
And for Honey Pop, it's not like I get it. I like to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm a perverted weeaboo on the podcast, but like for Honey Pop, I actually do genuinely like the match 3 because it makes you play quickly.
Sure.
Battle Chef does and does not, because you're given, I think, a 5-minute time limit for most matches, and then it starts layering on this other shit. Like, you learn how to better fight monsters through hunting quests. You learn how to more efficiently do match 3 through cooking at a restaurant, where it's like you have to make specific patterns with the dishes.
Okay.
Where it's like they'll show you a picture of like, this is what I want the symbols to look like in the match 3 board. You have to move them so that they actually look like that, because you stir the dish clockwise or counterclockwise, and that moves the gems around. Anyway, it's really good. I highly recommend it. I hope they show off that, but I don't think they will, because it's been 6 months.
Yeah. I'm always down for good indie titles.
Yeah, I recommend it, Sean. Like, go out and buy it. It's really cheap, too. I think it's 25 Canadian, and it's super worth it.
Okay, I'll look into it. Because, well, I'm not, like, huge on, like, match 3. I do enjoy them from time to time. So, why not, once I'm done with Kirby or whatever.
Alright, so let's finish this up, because after what my fucking stupid cats just did, I'm literally in no mood to finish this podcast.
Okay.
Let's start with the Siliconera article about the 5.0 update, because that article will bleed into the other one. Wait,
we have the Kojima thing to talk about. We just talked about the Nindies thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Alright, yeah, let's do that first. I totally forgot about
So I guess
the
we'll do
Kojima
the
thing.
Switch thing, the update.
Oh, well, either one. Whichever one you want to do first.
So the Switch update adds 14 new avatars based on ARMS and Kirby, and the full patch notes state as follows. Facebook and Twitter friends that also use the Switch can now be added through friend suggestions. They are based on accounts you have linked to your Nintendo account. You can view them through the home menu via user page and friend suggestions, and you must be at least 13 or older to use this feature. It says here that, oh, sorry, I misread that. It's 24 new ARMS and Kirby avatars have been added. Digital software purchases made from a PC or smart device will begin downloading sooner than previously, even if the Switch is in sleep mode. Filter news will allow you to view only unread news or news from specific channels. To keep the parental controls pin private, the default method for pin entry has been changed to entering using the control stick and buttons instead of the on-screen number pad. When prompted to enter your pin, it says press and hold the plus button to change between input methods. Captured videos in the album will be restricted by parental controls depending on the restricted software setting and software rating organization. Using your Switch parental controls app, add specific software titles to your whitelist to exclude them from the console's parental controls restricted software setting. Play time limit restrictions will still apply, even when the title has been whitelisted. You can receive notifications when pre-purchased software is ready to play. And it says here, the Switch Pro Controller grip colors will now display in the controller's menu. In addition, there are general stability improvements, including an issue that caused play activity to display incorrectly in the profile section of your user page.
So nothing big.
Nothing big. It's mostly parental control stuff. I don't care.
Yeah. I changed my my icon this morning to a Kirby one.
Which one?
I did the one just Kirby riding on the Warp Star.
I love that one. It's so adorable.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool that now you can start adding friends from Facebook and Twitter.
That is a nice thing, yeah.
That's kind of
It's
getting
nice,
that kind of getting away from the friend code bullshit, or do you still have to use the friend codes?
I mean,
Does the Switch even use friend
yeah,
codes?
it does.
Okay. Because I haven't used it at all. I've got
Yeah,
like
Sean,
PS5
Sean, you need
or
to
6 friends.
send me yours so I can add you.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Sean, send me yours.
Okay.
Yeah, so just post it in chat.
Yeah, I'll post it in chat after we're done.
So, I mean, if this allows you to add people without using friend codes, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of going a little out of the way, because you have to go on Facebook or Twitter, I guess, to find these people. I just think
Maybe someday.
I just think the Switch should just get rid of it altogether. They did it right with adding people with the Wii U. They should have kept it that way.
Yeah.
We've complained about this plenty of times.
How did they do it for the Wii U? I don't remember.
It was just like they do it on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, like you have
Just
your
a friends list
Ninty.
thing?
Yeah, you have your Ninty
Okay.
account.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
now
why'd they get rid of that? What the fuck?
this article from the Nerd Mag kind of bleeds into this thing too. New Nintendo Switch hardware possibly coming. A revision spotted in the 5.0 firmware.
Oh God, I hope not. So first of all, I'm going to comment on this. I like the way these Joy-Cons look, and if that is what we get, I'm going to be really happy.
If those are real
this is weird.
Joy-Cons, I want them.
Yeah, if those are real Joy-Cons, man, I want them. But it could be just somebody painting them over.
Possibly.
So it says here, if we are to believe the data mining findings from a series of tweets below, it seems that Nintendo is intending to release a new hardware revision of the Switch. As the data mine reveals a new SoC, they could pay the foundation for a new Nintendo Switch console in development. It has become common knowledge that the Switch has achieved homebrew state, and its floodgates for piracy are waiting to open. First of all, I would like to point out that this article is grammatically just the worst I've ever read.
I've never even seen this website before. I found it on a
Me
YouTube
neither,
video.
But Jesus Christ. So,
Yeah.
it says here, based on, according to a post on Switch Brew that goes into detail, it says here, quote, looks like we got an SoC revision. Might be a good time to pick up a console with a vulnerable bottom.
I have a boot ROM.
Huh?
Boot ROM.
I don't know
Vulnerable
what boot ROM is, but it says boot ROM, not bottom.
Am I retarded?
I don't know what an SoC
Oh, it
revision
says
is.
boot ROM. Yeah, my bad.
I don't know what an
Vulnerable bottom.
SoC
Like, a
revision
vulnerable
is.
bottom. Yes, they're gonna fuck the Switch in the ass, gentlemen.
Right in the ass.
Right in the ass. How?
Yeah, I don't know what an SoC is
Me neither.
myself
I
either.
don't really
so.
care. So earlier this month, Nintendo said they will give focus to titles and accessories over the main console. And considering Nintendo has a rare track record, with making hardware revisions to their systems, as opposed to Sony and Microsoft, who have adopted it as a commonplace practice, this could be a first for Nintendo if we are to believe that the console is to escape the grasp of pirates who will eventually open the system to piracy. I really would like to find whoever wrote this and beat them upside the head for not being able to pass basic English. As an editor, this is painful for me to read because here's the thing, right? Sometimes I flub shit when I read it aloud, every mistake that I've made is actually a mistake in this article. It is not something I've said because I have a stutter, and I'm trying to mitigate that.
Except for the whole bottom part.
Yeah, that part.
No, see, but that wasn't them. That was a tweet. Just a picture of a tweet.
Yeah.
So it's entirely different.
Yeah, that's true. Given the codename Mariko, currently the interactions of the SoC revision have yet to come to light, and we doubt Nintendo will ever comment on it. So we will have to wait for further news or opinion or updates on the findings, perhaps at a future show. It says here, it also speculates that this could patch the hardware vulnerability in the system that makes homebrew possible, similar to the firmware that Sony released on PS3 and PS4 to block the implementation of Linux, being able, let's see here, which opened piracy to those consoles. While we are sure that Nintendo might not be working on a Switch hardware revision, we might find out later this year or perhaps later next year. This was so badly written and so mangled that basically, there might be a Switch revision. I hope not. I don't really give a shit one way or the other, though, because I don't use homebrew.
I don't either, and I think it's too soon for the Nintendo to be remaking the console.
It's been a year.
Okay, here's the way I see it. Ninty doesn't usually release hardware revisions in the West. Like, they, except for in cases of, like, portable consoles, and even then it's usually functional shit. Like,
yeah.
Like typically, in the past, it was, you had your standard Game Boy, and then then you have your Game Boy Color, which obviously has a colored screen.
Yeah.
And then
the Game Boy Advance.
The Game Boy Advance, which is like the new console, slightly more powerful, whatever. The SP, which actually had a backlight and was more compact.
Yeah.
The DS, the DSi, which I actually don't remember what the...
Actually, the DS Lite.
The DS Lite, which
yeah.
I don't remember the iterations between the Lite and the DSi.
There was the normal DS and the DS Lite, and then he went to DSi, which was the quote-unquote new car for handheld, and then there was the DSi X.
Yeah, and the XL had like better battery life and bigger screens.
Yeah.
And then
you have
the
the
3DS. And then you have the 3DS XL, which is again the same thing, bigger screens, better
just
better battery life, and a little nub for a right circle pad for camera control.
No, that was the new 3DS.
Oh shit, that's right.
XL, yeah.
Then you have the new 3DS XL and the 2DS, which is basically, you don't like 3D, here you go. And then you have the new 2DS XL, which is just basically the new 3DS XL with the 3D you removed. Like, because I don't know if you've seen the original 2DS, but that thing looks retarded.
It's a fucking doorstop.
Yeah, it's literally just a doorstop.
Yeah, the original 2DS
XL looks nice.
Yeah, it's an actual clamshell design.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this Kojima thing, so we could wrap this up and I can go to fucking bed. Yeah, I'm reaching my fucking limit to the point where my body doesn't want to stay awake anymore. So.
Alright, then let's get this done.
Yeah.
We have this, and then we have the mailbag, because there was a question in the mail.
Oh, fuck second his goddamn question.
I would rather just get it over with, dude.
I know. Yeah, I know. I totally forgot about that, too. Alright, Kojima responds to fans asking about Metal Gear Survive and if this game was his idea.
I love this article. So basically, Kojima responded to Metal Gear Survive. According to IGN, he was asked if the idea came from his head, and he just said, "This has nothing to do with me." The Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage. Where do zombies fit in with that? He did say, however, that had he worked on Survive, it might have been different. Quote, "If I had worked on that game, it would have mechs." I fucking love Kojima.
I love Kojima, man.
I'm such a fucking weirdo.
I'd rather have mechs over zombies too, let's just say.
Dude, fuck yeah. I might actually buy the game if, instead of the stupid zombies, you were fighting robos.
What I would have liked is basically you're scrounging the materials to build yourself a Gundam, not a Metal Gear, a fucking Gundam.
I'd be down as fuck.
And then somehow some fucking teenager ends up falling into the cockpit anyway. And then basically Evangelion happens, because that's basically what Kojima would do.
Yeah.
So he said the game had nothing to do with me. He said, he went to call out the game's use of zombies. He said the Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage. He explains, where do zombies fit in with that, he asks. He did say, however, that had he worked on Metal Gear Survive, it might be different. I quote, "If I had worked on this game, it would have mechs in it," he said. Metal Gear Survive was announced during Gamescom in August. It is a multiplayer stealth game coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC in 2017. The game came out in 2018, as far as I remember. The spin-off is set in the same universe as a Metal Gear Solid 5 and takes place after the events of Ground Zeroes.
So, I just want to point out that, so after he was reading that, like, oh, announced in Gamescom in August, look, this article's 2 years old, guys.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I heard... Oh, shit. Wait. Because this was just brought up recently. Holy shit, it is 2 years old.
Oh my god.
So
To be fair, right? I encountered this quite recently because someone had posted it on either a subreddit somewhere
Oh, fuck
or
me
a forum
sideways.
somewhere and said basically, oh, here's what Kojima had to say about Metal Gear Survive.
Dude, this was literally just brought up in YouTube videos that went viral about 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is an old article.
I guess an old article, I guess Kojima was asked about the game again, so they just rehashed an old article.
Mm.
Oh, fuck me.
I don't know.
That just made me look real fucking stupid now. Jesus.
Made all of us look stupid.
Fucking Christ. Oh my god.
I want this game to fucking burn.
I mean, this article's 2.5 years old, man. I wish I would have, or a year and a half old. I wish I would have caught that. Otherwise, I would have never even fucking bothered. But still, he is right. You know, this game, he's pretty much saying this game's crap for the most part.
So anyway, finally we come to our mailbag, and we have a question from Chceck.
If he asks a stupid question, I'm going to sodomize
No,
him
actually,
with
it's
a
a really
bat.
good one. He said, regarding the discussion about Super Seducer in Part 1 of Episode 10, he said, the fact that this game is on Steam for $10 or less, what are our thoughts on Steam's policies or their systems for releasing games on the platform? What does this say about Steam for a game like Super Seducer to exist on its store, and should there be a stricter system in place?
Also, I do want to point out, it is not less than $10. It is $12.99.
I was literally just looking
I
up the
just
price.
looked it up, yeah.
I was literally just looking up the price of the game.
It's $12.99
Well,
as of right
he
now.
said, okay, maybe he didn't look it up, but
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
basically, so I've actually researched Super Seducer now. I gotta be honest with you, that game, so do you guys know how cults work? This is gonna sound kind of weird, but like, do you guys know how cults work?
To an extent. And
Yeah.
I feel like I know where you're going with this.
Cults work in the sense that they start off seeming kind of normal, and then they spring all the really weird shit on you once you, like, are deep enough in that you can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Super Seducer starts off normal enough where he's like, don't be an asshole, don't be a piece of shit.
And then he teaches you how to be an asshole and a piece of shit.
And then he teaches you how to be an asshole and a piece of shit. Like, for
Remove
me
all of their
personally-
freedoms
Now,
and
let me,
don't
let me explain to you, right? That first encounter on the street is mostly okay. Like, he does say some shit and do some shit that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's fine. Because most of the stuff that he tells you not to do is, like, actually decent advice. It's just obvious advice.
Yeah.
But then you get to that second scene where, like, he's trying to pick up on the girl and it turns out she has a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually watching, so I was watching someone play through it. And the guy is playing through it with his wife.
Okay.
And the wife is like, well, maybe you should just leave. Maybe that's the right solution. Right? And when you choose just leave after she says, I have a boyfriend, he's like, yeah, first of all, he sounds like a fucking weirdo when he leaves. He's like, tell them I'm Andrews. If any other men try to come near you, like, basically being passive-aggressive that this girl has a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
As he walks away. Then, even worse, he's like, well, why did you leave? You could have been friends and maybe it would have led to other things down the road. And it's like, first of all, I do kind of understand where he's coming from, where it's like,
just because she has a boyfriend doesn't mean that you should leave, because that means that you're there just to get laid, and that's kind of scummy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, the fact that he's just like, oh, so basically do it in case she breaks up with him and you can fuck her.
Yeah.
That's kind of messed up. That was the moment for me where I was like, oh no.
Oh, and it gets better.
And it gets better, because the correct answer to that is, it's, will he allow me to talk to you? And he's like, because it takes away her freedom.
Yeah. Like, that's his word for word exactly what
he's like. It takes away her freedom because it's a psychological trick that makes her think that want to defy her boyfriend, in the sense that he does not own her.
Yeah.
Which to me, it's like, to be fair, you know, if the boyfriend is uncomfortable with other dudes hanging out with his girlfriend, that's fine. But it's like, if the dude in question, like if the third party in question is clearly trying to pick up, it's like no fucking wonder. Like, anyway, I think part of this problem with Super Seducer, before I even get into the meat of this question, is that the pickup artist guy is the one giving you the scoldings, not the girls.
Sure.
Like, for some of that, like, most of it is common sense. It's like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't be an asshole, don't do this, don't do that. But if you did a wrong thing, I think it would be more tolerable
if it was like women. The actual women telling
if it was
you.
If it, instead of that, it cut to the woman on the bed, and she's like, that was really good because you showed an interest in what I had to say. That was really good because you were passionate about something, but you weren't weird about it. Or
I can totally get behind that, yeah.
Like, stuff like that, whatever, right? Like, because no one knows, okay, if you're trying to pick up chicks, if you're actually trying to be a super seducer, there is no better wingman or person to get advice from than an actual woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
not some guy who thinks
not
he's
some fucking
shit.
guy who thinks not some guy who looks like he's hobo Jesus.
Yeah.
Like he looks like Jesus if Jesus was a hobo. Not some fucking guy who's like British hobo Jesus, who thinks he's hot shit but is really just a fucking scumbag. And even then, if I'm completely honest with you, oh, I just lost my train of thought. So I was going to say something about regarding what I just said, but I literally just forgot what I just said. I blanked out completely. Something about hobo Jesus, but like right before that, I was talking about the women's being the ones to scold you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, games like this should not exist. There should not be a market for these games, because the whole point of you... Okay, I am a pretty nervous person in the sense that I don't leave the house, but I have been told that I'm a fairly charming person when I want to be, and the trick is to have some confidence in yourself, but also not to be a cunt. And more importantly, don't treat women like they're sex objects, and don't treat women like they're property. You don't even treat women like women. You treat a woman like you treat a normal person.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. They're a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, as a writer, one of the best pieces of character advice I can give for people who are like, oh, I'm a man, but I have to write a woman, or oh, I'm a woman, but I have to write a man. It's like, their gender really shouldn't matter. It's like they're going to be the same character regardless. Unless there's, like, some stuff that makes their gender relevant. Like, if you're writing a medieval setting, obviously women and men are going to be two different fucking breeds entirely. But regardless... So yeah, a piece of advice is to treat women like people. Don't treat women any different than you would anybody else. Like, treat them with respect, obviously. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so to answer Chceck's question, because I've been going on about this for a while, but I think that this is... I personally don't give a rat's ass what's on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Steam is... There are worse things on Steam.
Trust me, I was just in the fucking store and I just saw some worse shit.
Yeah, like, there's worse stuff on Steam. Like, it says here that I honestly think that It's like Hatred is the only game that I've ever seen that's like high profile enough to be removed from Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that with enough negative outcry and enough reports of like, this is what this guy has done, this should be removed. I think that Steam I don't think Steam should have a hand in censoring its platform, but I think Steam needs better quality control for its platform.
Absolutely. Sure. Especially with the whole greenlight thing, because anything can get greenlit.
Greenlight is absolute garbage.
Yeah, like, I don't think there should be a stricter system in the sense of, like, we don't agree with Super Seducer because it's sexist. It should just be like, we don't agree with Super Seducer because it's actually kind of shitty in general.
Yeah.
And it's sexist.
Well, it is sexist. Like, that is definitely a knock against it. But
censoring it just because it's sexist, I don't know.
No, it's just pointless. It's like, just because it's sexist, removing it from the Steam store might make people want to seek it out more, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
But, I do think that, like, maybe they should give a warning that states, like, the content in this game has been deemed by certain users to be sexist for the following reasons. Kind of like the ESRB does, but, like, maybe a little bit more in-depth and user-submitted.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I'm looking at Super Seducer, no, 9 times out of 10, I think that the Steam reviews, if you look at like most helpful, most positive, and most negative, that you can generally get a good snapshot of what a game is. And if you look at like the most average reviews, you tend to get like a nice mixed bag of stuff. But so I think we need to encourage people to be more informed, but I do think that to help that along, we need a system where it's like, Super Seducer is sexist because the man literally objectifies women and tells you to take away their freedom. Do you know what Super Seducer reminds me of?
What's that?
A pile of shit.
Have you guys ever been watching pornography and there's that ad where it's like, there's a strange loophole in the female mind that makes her want to fuck.
Oh god, I remember those.
That's what I think of.
But so kind of like, to answer his question, I mean, Steam has been opening itself up to more like sexualized content in recent years. But I think they do need better quality control in what shit gets shoveled onto their platform. Especially with the greenlight shit, because a lot of those games don't even get finished. Early access is another fucking thing that needs to be better controlled.
Yeah, like I was looking at I don't know if you guys are familiar with, I think it's called Distance, and they describe it as a survival racing game. And it was really promising and really good, but it hasn't been updated in ages. Like, I think its last update was from last year.
Right, and Road Redemption...
It's still in early access, and that's a shame, because I thought that game looked really good.
And Road Redemption's the same thing. It looked like a really good successor to the Road Rage games, or Road Rash games.
Oh, yeah.
And that game hasn't been updated in, like, 2 years either. I'm like... And it's still in early access. I don't think developers should be allowed to make money from a game that they don't intend to finish.
Yeah.
I mean, they put the disclaimer out there, you know, you get what you're paying for. It's in early access, you know, the games may not be finished or whatever. But
if they're promising to finish the game and you're buying it on the pretense, like, here, you buy money, finish the game.
Yeah, like, if they're putting it on early access to get so people will buy it and get feedback on it, they should finish the game, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. I have an example.
I don't want there to be another video game crash, you know, because of Steam's platforms.
Like, I think that what needs to happen, honestly, with stuff like that is, like, if you put up, I guess the term that I want to use is abandonware. Like, you're familiar with shovelware. This is abandonware. It's like, you put it up, it doesn't matter if it's promising or not. But I think that after a certain length of time, Steam should basically poke you and say, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. How's progress going? Because at the end of the day, Steam is what is going to publish your game.
Right.
Its platform. Right? And therefore, if Steam does that, and they don't get a response within, like, let's say 10 business days, then they should go, like, we are going to refund your customers out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Now,
because it is not fair to them.
Does Steam charge people to publish their games for them?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty hefty amount
I was gonna
Jeez.
say, 'cause if they don't, they really should.
Yeah.
But
Like,
seriously,
I think that if you fuck up and you don't provide, like, here's the thing, right? Let's assume that you're like the developer of Cuphead. Like, let's say you make Cuphead
Mhm.
and you put a demo on Steam or whatever, or proof of concept, and then Steam, you don't post updates for a while because Cuphead was a really intensive process.
Mhm.
Steam not basically sends you the email. It's like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. You have 10 days to reply, or we're going to be basically forcing you to give refunds on Cuphead.
Sure.
If they respond with, well, Cuphead is a very intensive process. We're animating literally every frame of this by hand. We are currently having difficulties with money.
If they give them good reasons,
Like, if they
then
give you
they
good
can back
reasons
off.
for why, if they give you good reasons for why when the thing is in development hell,
Mhm.
even if it's something like, oh, well, I have a day job, it's been kind of hectic, and I'm using that to fund my game,
Mhm.
even that, to me, is a good enough reason.
right?
But
Like,
if they
don't.
just disappear with the fucking
Yeah, but
money,
if you just disappear with the fucking money and you don't respond, or if you respond and you're just like, oh, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, it's bullshit because there's games on there that people get into, and they just don't get updated anymore. And then you have the games like Super Seducer, where maybe the games that get ported to their thing, like, they don't get checked.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like thoroughly checked for it to be like accepted, because that's why Sony banned it, because they saw all the backlash the game got. They looked into it, decided, hey, we don't want any part of this, and banned it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Back in the day, there was no regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the time of the video game crash, there was no regulation. And the reason why Nintendo became so popular is because Nintendo put the thing that says, like, this is officially licensed and approved by Nintendo.
The official seal
Because
of
Nintendo
Nintendo.
checked it, for the most part, to make, like, I think there's only 2 NES games that didn't receive the seal in the West, and it's because both of them are piracy devices.
Oh, there's more. There's more than 2, but anyways, go on.
No, I mean, like, 2 things that were sold in official stores, like Toys R Us or whatever,
All right,
that didn't
okay.
have the Ninty seal of approval. Like, of course, you've got, like, your ROM hacks, your bootlegs, whatever else.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I actually have one of those Nintendo games that doesn't have the official seal on it. I don't know where it was sold, but I actually have one in my possession at the moment.
But anyway, I think that what needs to happen is Steam needs to comb through what's on its thing, and they need to they don't even need to remove it, they just need to be like, this thing has Steam sealed quality.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, if you put up, say, and I'm not saying it should be even that rigorous of a process, like, as shitty as Super Seducer is, at least it's a full game, and at least it's functional.
Right, but I mean, it's a game that shouldn't
Like,
really
no.
exist.
At least it's not some of this VR porn we're looking at right now that literally dropped today. They literally just fucking released VR fucking.
I am
It's
so
like fucking
right?
$15.
I am so
Games.
glad you keep cutting out this way I don't have to censor that.
Oh, do you censor our curse words?
No, but like when he's mentioning, prawns, like I will kind of censor that, once in a while.
Okay.
But every time he went to say the P word, it literally just cut him off.
Well, then I apologize. But the point still stands. Like, they're putting this garbage for money.
Oh yeah,
on Steam.
I believe it. I believe it.
And now that, in my opinion, is significantly worse than Super Seducer.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that shouldn't even exist on a gaming platform, no less.
Yeah, it's like the VR
Prawns.
sexy time. The VR
Naughty
sexy
stuff.
time. Yeah, the super naughty shit that's like really degenerate and awful. And for certain types of lonely men, should probably not receive a Steam seal of quality.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm saying that what we need is we need like 3 or 4 layers of protection, where it's like, first of all, you've got your almost like your safe search, where it's like only show items that have the Steam seal of quality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then let's say like Super Seducer is a finished game with no bugs, or with like minimal bugging, and although it's scummy, it's at least functional as a game by a certain definition of game.
right?
Yeah.
So let's say you go into the Steam page, like let's say it gets this seal of quality, which I would assume that it would in my ideal system. So you go into it, and then when you're reading the description, or even one of the first things that comes up is like, the following product has been flagged in multiple user reviews for
this, and this.
this, and this. And for Super Seducer, it'd be like, for objectification of women, which I'm not even really comfortable with that label. Like, I think there needs basically just rampant sexism, whatever the fuck else, where it states like, and then it gives you basically an example or an excerpt from probably one of the better reviews they can find. Yeah, where basically it's the thing where he's like, oh, take away her freedom, because I'm a fucking wanker. On Harry Potter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shit like that. Or if you're playing Hatred.
Yeah. Like, for extreme fucking gore, violent.
Yeah, like, for Hatred, it would be like, if Hatred was a functional game, which I believe it was not on launch, and I think they took it down from the store, it would be like, Hatred does not have the seal of approval, and then you go in and it still has that warning where it's like, extreme gore and violence.
Unnecessary violence.
Yeah.
And then, like, you could say that it replicates events that not all people would be comfortable with, and in brackets it would be like mass shootings.
Sure.
But have you noticed?
There you have it.
Have you noticed in the Steam Workshop section though, like under mods for certain games, people can just download other people's mods and just re-upload them as their own.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I have put hundreds upon hours of Skyrim, and I'm heavily modded my version of Skyrim.
Do you have the Macho Man Dragon mod?
I did at one point for shits and giggles. Then I'm like,
no,
I want the game to be real again.
Listen. My I don't like the way the dragons look when they're Macho Man Randy Savage, but
disgusting.
I love the way they sound. I love the sound clips. Like, my favorite thing is the beginning of the game when you're at Helgen, I believe is the name of the keep, where you're about to be executed.
Yeah.
And then from you're they're doing their routine or whatever, and then from over the mountain you're, oh yeah. And I was like, what was that? And then Macho Man fucking flies in. It's like, yeah, snap into a Slim Jim. And then he fucking breathes fire and murders all of them.
I mean,
but yeah, like, I've modded the shit out of my Skyrim, and I've multiples upon multiples of like, this is fucking repost.
I mean, that's pretty much like stealing people's mods is pretty much kind of what companies did back in the 80s, because Atari didn't want to give credit to the companies that made the game. So you had companies like stealing each other's ideas, putting their own credits into the games, publishing their own games themselves.
But see, that shit's free, like the mods. So at least for some,
it's still scummy.
I think it's still very scummy, but it's not as big of a deal.
It's not as big of a deal because you're not making money off of it, even though you are stealing credit for it.
I just don't want, Steam's lack of quality control, especially if games go all digital at some point, like it eventually will. I don't want it to lead. I
hope that it doesn't for a long. I hope it doesn't in my lifetime.
I would say
in PC, it's already all digital.
Well, yeah, but that makes sense because PC games. Even when I was a kid and you really had few options other than for PC game other than physical. Like EB Games would not accept returns on PC games.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
Walmart would not accept returns on PC games, like shit like that.
What I'm saying is, it's going to happen probably within the next 10 years. I'm thinking physical media is going to be completely scrapped. Nintendo's already pushing for digital-only media as it is. And, once games are all digital and they're pretty much all on PC, I just don't want to see there be another video game crash because there's so much shovelware and such a lack of quality control. And there's so many games that people don't lose their faith in gaming like they did 30 years, 30-something years ago.
I hate to break it to you, but I think that we're already kind of on our way there.
Right, and I don't
My
want to
scene
see
is-
it. I don't want to see it
and,
happen
like,
again.
The way the AAA industry is in particular, it's like, not only are they kind of creatively bankrupt, in the sense that, like, most games are
Similar.
very similar, and even quote-unquote creative games are very similar to other things. Like, if you're going to describe Dandara, or Dandara, or however the fuck you pronounce it, that's an indie game. But it's still a Metroidvania. It's just a Metroidvania with, like, one extra thing added. Celeste is, like, a platformer in the vein of, like, Mario 2 Lost Levels, but with more mechanics added. Like, you can describe...
I compare it to fucking Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, that's what I would compare it to.
I wouldn't quite... Yeah, actually...
Just a slower one.
Kinda, not quite, like, I don't know, but...
Just from what I've seen, I haven't played it, so...
I've played it. It is and it's not, but...
Sure. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Long story short, is that we're reaching a point where there are no original ideas left, and that's not an issue. The issue is that people are taking these ideas and they're beating them like a dead horse. Like, indie games, for example, they add extra stuff to it. Like, Celeste has the extra mechanic per stage, and the fact that it is just so ball-bustingly hard that it kicked my ass so hard I was unable to sit down yesterday. But in all seriousness, like, Dandara has the thing where it's like you can only move between the ceiling and the floor. You have to choose the angle at which you move.
Yeah.
Like, their Battle Chef Brigade has the fact that it's a match 3, but it's also Iron Chef. Like, even, like, I would argue that even Nintendo, up until now, has been kind of creatively bankrupt in the sense that, like...
But, I mean, what can you do?
Well, they've been rehashing the same kind of formulas for years. Like, even Zelda. Like, Zelda had the same themes, but it also had the same basic structure where it's like, Zelda always had the dual worlds mechanic as of Link to the Past, really.
Yeah.
The only exception that readily comes to mind is, like, you definitely have your exceptions where it's like Wind Waker has the sea instead. Fuck. Shit, like, whatever. But
I get what you're saying, though.
So do you think we answered Chceck's question well enough, or...
Yeah.
I can answer it in one fucking sentence. Gabe Newell doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, basically.
He has no fucking morals, and he just wants to fatten his pocket.
Well, I mean...
And so everything we want is not going to happen for a long time.
I don't even think Gabe Newell wants to fatten his pocket. I just think that he wants some... Basically, he wants enough money that he'll be able to stuff those fat fucking rolls of his. Because, listen, I don't want to make fun of the dude for being obese, but he's a pretty fucking big dude.
He has lost a lot of weight from, like, back in the day.
Really? I have not seen him recently.
Within the past few years, he's a little smaller, but
I know.
Point being...
he wants money. The point being is money.
He doesn't fucking care,
is the
and
Wild
that's what
West.
Steam is a show. Yeah.
Steam is the Wild West. And
being a predominantly PC gamer, Steam's a fucking shit show, and you have to dig deep for actual good shit.
Like I really respect Jim Sterling for just the amount of shit that he has to play through. No matter how I feel about his journalistic style sometimes, like I watch Jim Sterling quite religiously now. Now that I'm back into gaming. But, like, that man has subjected himself to things that no human being should have to play.
That poor man.
Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just is sent to an asylum. Because at that point it becomes, like,
in between videos.
Self-mutilation. Yeah, at that point it becomes, like, self-mutilation.
But yeah, I think Steam would do well with some sort of fucking digging through this shit and seal of approval stuff. But I don't foresee it happening in a very, very long time.
If at all. If ever. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on episode 11, part 1, because I could certainly say that while I certainly didn't mean to sound cranky and like a fucking prick for about the past half an hour, I mean, you weren't the ones that saw your fucking consoles go flying about halfway across the bedroom.
Sure.
And that quite pissed me off. And
understandably so.
dude, like, I just saw these fucking cats just run through my fucking room, right? Like it's a fucking dumpster. Fucking like like an alleyway. My PS4, my Switch, and my SNES Mini go flying about halfway across the room, off my fucking TV stand. The wires just fucking yanked right out of the fucking backs of the consoles. If any of this shit is ruined now, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
I'd check to see if it's still. I'm sure it works just fine, but still check either.
I mean, the PS4 for the power plug stayed plugged in, so because that was in rest mode and it didn't power off. But my Switch went flying and it fell out of the fucking dock. My freaking SNES Mini went fucking flying and the power cord for that went freaking ripped right out of it. I mean, this fucking, like, we got a couple more cats. Now we have 3 when we had 1. And this one cat out of the 2 new cats we got is a destructive motherfucker.
Was it a kitten?
No, well, I guess he's a kitten, but he's the biggest cat out of all 3 of them that we have.
Okay.
And he was really small. He got really big in like 2 months. Yeah. But this fucking cat is not happy unless he's jumping all over everything and knocking everything over and making a big fucking mess.
Jesus.
Every day my mom will come home from work with her coffee cup. She'll have coffee left over in her cup. She'll put it down on the kitchen counter so she can go in the bathroom and get unchanged from her work clothes. Every day, the first thing that cat does when she gets home is jumps on the counter, swats her coffee cup over, and coffee all over the fucking kitchen. Every day.
Bullshit.
Every fucking day. With this new cat.
I love cats.
I love cats too, but man, this cat's out of control.
Animals are the worst. Fuck them all.
And this freaking cat just sent 3 of my fucking consoles flying. And I don't have hundreds of dollars to replace this shit.
Euthanize it.
So my final thoughts for this part are... Steam is the Wild West. But unlike the Wild West, there's going to be no... Like... We're not going to be able to drag Steam kicking and screaming into the civilized world.
No.
Kojima needs to continue saying fuck Konami, at least on some level.
He will anyway.
Even if that was 2 years ago, I found that fucking hilarious.
I mean, his point still stands.
His point still stands. It doesn't matter when it was. It doesn't matter if he fucking said that in the 80s. It still stands.
It still stands. Fuck Konami.
Fuck Konami. Like at this point, as far as Konami is concerned, right? My roommate recently, he invests, and he's like, I was thinking about buying stocks on Konami. And he's like, how's the pachinko industry in Japan? So I explained to him basically that, it's one of the only legal forms of gambling you can do. I was like, but you have a better chance of making money investing in the Yakuza, like the actual fucking Yakuza, than you do investing in Konami at this point.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, do you know any Yakuza-run companies? And I was like, no, but I handed him, I think, some transportation companies. But anyway, yeah. Pachinko... Basically, Metal Gear will probably forever be toiling in the pachinko mines.
Yeah, Metal Gear's dead.
You got a final word there, Sean, to wrap up this?
I agree that Steam's the Wild West. Gabe Newell doesn't give a fuck about any of our fucking peasanty needs, because he is the real PC Master God. And I'm excited for all the Sonic shit. Like, genuinely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I might have bitched about it at first, but I'm actually kind of...
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, like, it's a lot of small shit, but, like, the actual shit that matters, like, okay, I'm genuinely interested.
Oh, and one thing I didn't mention with the South by Southwest thing, the movie Ready Player One that's coming out on the 29th of March, Sonic actually makes a cameo appearance in that movie.
Does he? That's great. Neat. I can't wait to see that movie.
That was also announced at the thing today.
Gotta go fetus.
So, with that being said, folks, this podcast has gone for almost 2.5 hours again.
Jesus fuck.
That seems to happen when it's the three of us instead of just two of us.
My bad.
That just comes with the territory, I suppose.
Nothing personnel, kid.
So
Unfortunately,
for my co-host Cipher and our buddy Sean, who may or may not be back for part 2 if he's around.
Man, I hope so.
My name is The Rose. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, we'll catch your ass down the road.